All right, here we go. Right now at 11, we are tracking the lake effect snowstorm now pummeling parts of western New York. Here is the moment. Check this out, folks. The wall of white hit downtown Buffalo. Incredible, just within the past few hours. And this is really just the beginning. And because of that very heavy snow, Erie County is in a state of emergency right now. Good evening, I'm Scott Levin.
And I'm Mary Alice Demler. At 8 o'clock tonight, Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz issued an emergency declaration and put a driving ban into effect countywide starting at 9 p.m. Well, tonight we've got team coverage on tracking conditions, the alerts in place right now, and a look at how this storm is impacting everything from travel to sports. First, we check in with meteorologist Elise Smith. It got here, Elise, right on time.
It did, Mary Alice and Scott. And what's a little eerie at this point, but good news, is that computer models since yesterday have been spot on with the placement and the timing of the snow bands, just not the amount. Now, this is a radar loop of the past 6 hours where we saw that first band of snow lift through and pave the way for now what has developed the main event. The prominent lake effect band even had some thunder snow within this setup of this event as well. And some of the snow totals we've seen within the last 4 hours, 6 inches has fallen at the Buffalo airport, just measured about 4.5 inches up on rooftop weather an hour ago. Hamburg 4.3 also saw a 6-inch mark from Buff General earlier this evening as well. Again, send us your snow totals and your weather photos if it's safe to do so. We'll be collecting those. So 2 things I want you to know. Buffalo, areas a little farther east and all the way south to about Brant, even into northern Chautauqua County and Dunkirk. But primarily for Buffalo, a lake effect snow warning now in effect until Sunday. We've got to ride this out. Travel ban is in place. So right now it's time to stay in, ride this one out. You will wake up and see all of the snow on your doorstep tomorrow. And Scott and Mary Alice, I just updated the snowfall map. I'll have that coming up in the full forecast. But one area that we are going to be seeing a lot of snow just south of Buffalo is where Nate Benson is right now out in the storm tracker. Nate, I hope you've been taking it easy and taking it safe out there with this heavy snow.
Yeah, hey Elise, thank you so much. I'm actually in Buffalo right now, just on near Bailey and Clinton. Let me flip the camera around so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And there's a lot of snow. No surprise there. We've been talking about it all day. No real surprises. There is some of the heaviest snow I've seen so far today happening right now. Just waves of snow coming down. But I've really been all over the region today. I started out in Dunkirk for the early shows at 4 o'clock and followed the storm as it worked its way up the 90. And even after that commercial travel ban on the thruway went into effect, I did see a lot of tractor trailers still traveling that mainline thruway. Around 7 p.m. tonight, I made it to Hamburg and Lackawanna, where those lake effect bands really started to focus on the Buffalo metro area. And Elise said earlier, thunder snow. I've seen probably half a dozen, maybe a dozen-ish in between there, flashes of lightning throughout this storm. Earlier tonight, about 7:30, when I was in West Seneca, power went out. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz said about 2,000 customers without power there at one point. And then I've, of course, wandered over here to Bailey and Clinton. Scott and Mary Alice, I've been here about a half hour, and I think it's time I have to get out of the car and brush off some of the snow so we can see a better look of what's happening a little bit later in the show. So I'm going to catch up with you guys in a little bit. Keep monitoring the conditions out here on Bailey and Clinton.
All right, we'll look forward to that update. Thanks, Nate.
All right, and just less than 2 hours ago, we did hear from Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz and other county leaders during a press briefing at the Emergency Operations Center that's in Cheektowaga.
2 on your sides, Michael Wooten joins us in the studio, and he's got the latest information. Michael?
Yeah, Mary Alice and Scott, the big headline tonight really is that driving ban is in effect, and we got an explanation as to why it was put in place for all of Erie County and not just targeted areas. Now, in order to have that ban, the county executive had to first issue this state of emergency. He did this at 8 o'clock tonight. The city of Buffalo and several other municipalities have also issued their own emergency declarations. So why the driving ban for all of Erie County? Well, the county executive said as the snow was first starting to really come down a few hours ago, almost the entire county was immediately impacted. And so they felt it was best to just do this countywide. That will be reevaluated overnight and into the morning. So we might see a more targeted driving ban, certain cities and towns. The county is definitely being more proactive with this storm compared to what we saw 8 years ago.
I'd much rather implement a driving ban earlier than waiting for the worst case scenario and then having it too late. And that's what happened in 2014. So we learned from that lesson that if you wait too long to implement a driving ban, if you wait too long to take this proactive action, what ends up happening is it just hampers your ability to recover.
So we'll give you now another vantage point as that wall of snow arrived just a few hours ago. We can tell you there are a lot fewer vehicles out on the roads, a lot of people listening to that driving ban. Erie County leaders also mentioning at this update tonight that there are now thousands of local families in the dark with power lines down. More of those are expected. We'll update the power outages for you coming up in just a few minutes. For now, reporting live, Michael Wooten, Channel 2 News.
All right, Michael, thank you. And just before our 6 o'clock news began, we spoke to Governor Kathy Hochul, who continues to emphasize staying home and staying safe during this winter storm. Here's what she had to say when speaking with us on the phone earlier tonight.
Conditions have worsened, and we're expecting whiteout conditions on all major roads between 9 p.m. and midnight tonight. And so we're asking everyone to stay off the roads. This is not a normal winter storm. It is going to be extreme. It could be life-threatening, and it is the first of the season, but it's going to be one of the worst we've seen in a long time.
And Governor Hochul is still here in Erie County tonight and will continue to monitor the winter storm throughout the weekend.
Well, right now, the New York State Thruway is closed to all commercial traffic. That went into effect at 4 p.m. today. Now, this is a live look at one of our tracker cameras at the 33 right near the New York State Thruway. Now, we heard from a spokesperson with the New York State Department of Transportation on how crews are handling tonight's snowfall.
In addition to the thruway commercial traffic ban, there's also state arterials that have bans on them as well, including, 190, 290, 990, 400, 33 Expressway, 219, 400, the Skyway portion of Route 5, and even on a portion of I-81. State police, was very involved in those conversations. There is going to be a level of enforcement. There has been plenty of warning. The announcement of the commercial traffic ban went out yesterday in anticipation of enforcement at 4 p.m. today. But, that has to be taken very seriously because it just takes, one tractor trailer to jackknife, and it causes, a domino effect for traffic all on the expressways.
Again, that commercial traffic ban on the thruway is in effect right now between Rochester and the Pennsylvania state line.